This is the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show today with legendary guitarist and founding member of the Offspring, Noodles. How you doing today, Noodles?
Doing good, Eric. Good to see you, man.
The first 5 Van Halen records, punk rock or not punk rock?
Oh, man. I'm only really familiar with the first one, with the one with Eruption on it. And
Atomic Punk.
It had Atomic Punk on it. Yeah. That's the only one I really know. I want to say there's something punk about David Lee Roth's attitude. Well, and he hung out with a lot of punks. I mean, he would do coke with people, I think he hung out with Tamata Duplanty, right? So from the Screamers. So yeah, he loved the punk scene, but he was also very much glam metal guy too. And such a huge ego. Of course, we all do have egos, and you can't get out and play in front of people if you don't have some sense of an ego. But I mean, David Lee Roth is just huge. It's almost so big and comical that it's endearing, but he's also huge ego, kind of annoying.
5 albums that changed your life.
Can I use double albums in that?
Sure. Oh, that's always a cheat.
I know, yeah. Let's go with Rolling Stones, Hot Rocks. I'm a huge Rolling Stones fan. The Ramones' first record, just huge. TSOL's Dance With Me, huge. I got the ghoul tattoo. Let's do the Dickies, Incredible Shrinking Dickies. Actually, no. Let's do Dawn of the Dickies, the second full-length record. I love that record, too. Let's do Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water. My dad had that record, and I would put that on and listen to it. I think I was a sucker for the harmonies. Just loved that.
What was the album that made you want to pick up guitar?
I don't know. It might have been the theme to MASH. Suicide is Painless. I just love the picking of the guitar in that, and then the flute over it was, yeah.
Wow. What a depressing song.
I know, right? They didn't use the lyrics. They used it just an instrumental version of that song because, with the lyrics, it's like, oh, man.
What has been the best part of having Josh Freese play drums on the Offspring albums Splinter, Rise and Fall, Rage and Grace, Days Go By, most of that album, and then he actually plays 2 songs on the new album too.
Yeah.
Tell me about Josh, because he's the man.
Josh is amazing. I mean, he's just a phenomenal drummer, and Pete has never lived close by. When we first started working with him, he was up in Chico, and now he's out in Nashville. So Josh is in Long Beach. So if we're here working, it was easy to just go, hey, are you around? And he would come in, and or no, I'm not around now, but I'll be around next week. Okay, great, come in. And so it was easy to just get him here. He's got a really good working relationship with Bob Rock too, but I think we've been working with him even before Bob. I think we were working with him with Brendan O'Brien as well. But I mean, we go way back with them because we toured with those guys, the Vandals, and just love those guys. The whole band, they're crazy, but they're some of the smartest guys I know, each in their own way, just so smart and funny. Each one of them has this twisted sense of humor that's just phenomenal, and Josh is right there in the mix, and just a phenomenal drummer. So yeah, it's great. We'll come in, we'll start. You can throw anything at him, and he'll come up with something, to try to do. Bring it back, okay. Now forward, okay. Now really wail on this one, okay. And it's just great. Now what would you play? Okay.
We had a chance to see Josh play with Shampoo Horn, which was Dweezil and on Met Zappa.
Wow.
He was in their band, and he was 16. And I saw him, and I'm just like, this guy's the greatest drummer. He's a lot like Terry Bozzio. Would you say he's a one-take guy?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Pete's a lot like that, too. Pete's great as well.
What inspired the title of the new Offspring album, Let the Bad Times Roll? And just the song, Let the Bad Times Roll, I mean, there's a couple lines in there. One of them is, take what is right, make it wrong. There's another line, because the truth is what we're erasing.
There's 2 ways of looking at it. One is, God, there's just so much going on in this world. How do you combat it? Well, fuck it, bring it, let the bad times roll. That's one way of looking at it. The other is, it's what our leaders are saying to us. You think I'm bad now? You think I'm screwing with you now? Just wait. I'm gonna get worse. I think we saw that a lot over the last 4 years in this country. But I think we're also seeing it in around the world. You're seeing a rise of really ethnocentric nationalism happening around the globe. It's not just in this country, and when those powers, when those movements come to power, bad things happen. Wars happen. World wars happen. And I don't think people are realizing, just how dangerous some of the forces that are gaining power are. The truth is what we're erasing. We're definitely, you've got people going on TV and just lying, flat out lying, making things up. The idea that Trump didn't lose this last election. He lost this election. This was a fair and free election, but there's people that do not believe that that's what happened. The truth doesn't matter to those people. They're going to believe their leader, regardless of whether he's lying to them, which Trump is lying to you. Trump is lying to you. But they're going to believe that anyways. It's crazy. This is where we are in this world today, and it's not just Trump. It's like I said, that kind of stuff is happening all around the world in different governments, different parts of the world. You're seeing, it's for democracy to succeed. And I'm very pro-democracy. I know that we live in a democratic republic, but I'm very pro-democracy, and I think the people should have the say for the people to be cared for properly and defended properly. They need to have their say, but they also need real information and honest, truthful information. And we're not always getting that in this country, and you're not always seeing that in other parts of the world.
What inspired the album cover art for Let the Bad Times Roll? And it reminds me of a Day of the Dead version of the Hindu goddess.
Yeah, it's a Shiva with all the hands all holding a different ill. Two of the hands are holding a gun. It's certainly an issue in our society. There's mass shootings every weekend. The pills, the opioid epidemic is out of hand in this country. Money is just greed, pirate flag, kind of anarchy, and then the sombrero hat's kind of like a bandit looking kind of thing. And then the Shiva with the hands. So it's kind of like a mix of cultural metaphors, I guess, and then everything going on in our society. It's also kind of there's a lot of tribalism going on and waving of flags right now, and there's a lot of tribalism going on that's separating people more than bringing people together, unfortunately.
Who came up with the concept?
Well, Dexter went over it with David. David Benito is the name of the artist who worked on that. He's done a number of things for us since. He did all the artwork on the record. Dexter's really hands-on and really kind of talks with these ideas and suggests things that that he might like to change. And David's been great to work with. Really nice guy. So it's photography and then computer manipulation, and it's all, he kind of adds all this stuff, and he's actually working on a video for us now as well for Opioid Diaries, actually.
How would you interpret the songs off the new album? We'll start with Hassan Chop. When I looked up Hassan Chop, Bugs Bunny came up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's also a rapper named Hassan Chop. Okay. I didn't know that until I googled it to see. But yeah, I totally remember the cartoon. I don't even know whether you're allowed to play that anymore. We wanted to do a song. It's about the Middle East, and how it's still there's just so much violence and warring and stuff going on there. And how are you going to ever solve that? But also we just kind of wanted to have a fast-paced, breakneck punk rock song, and so that whole kind of idea came together. There's Middle Eastern riffs going on in there, and then that breakdown is actually from an old Manic Subsidal, a song that Dexter wrote 35 years ago. Almost verbatim, updated a little bit, but yeah, almost verbatim, a little breakdown guitar solo thing.
It was one of the most powerful punk songs I've heard. That is like the perfect punk song for the times we're living in. I mean, sonically.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's fun. We've been practicing it, and it's really fun. And when Todd starts in on that bass, it sounds rad. Really cool.
Yeah, you guys always had prominent bass in your albums, which is another awesome thing.
Yeah, that's kind of a punk thing. Well, Mike Roach from TSOL did a lot of that, so for sure, there's a lot of that in the old TSOL stuff, and I think that's kind of what inspired us for sure.
This is not Utopia.
Yeah, that was one of the last songs written for the record. And really, before all of the unrest of last summer, Dexter had just kind of finished it, and then we're just kind of seeing this all this unrest happen. I'm like, oh my God, it's the song. But I think we just kind of saw the way the world was going, the just how people are finding their tribes and separating, and Americans aren't coming together. That song, I think, specifically points at what we see happening in our country, or that's our viewpoint. So, you know, we kind of come at it from Americans, but you can apply that to, like I said, the things happening in Russia or happening in Hong Kong, even South America. There's been a bunch of unrest there. So Cuba now, geez. Everywhere.
Breaking These Bones.
Yeah, that one's more about when you are suffering just really emotional turmoil, how that can almost feel like your bones are being crushed. How it can almost that emotional weight can almost become a physical, like, crushing feeling. And that one definitely has some, there's a nod to TSOL in that one. Those whole open chord thing, that's straight Ron Emery, and the drums too is Todd Barnes and Ron Emery at the intro to that, for sure.
Coming for You.
Coming for You, that's a song that actually came out like 5-6 years ago now. I can't remember exactly when. And that's kind of like hey, we're not going to take this anymore. We're coming for you, man. And I think there's plenty of that kind of feeling on the entire political spectrum. We're not taking this. We're coming for you.
So the best thing about working with Bob Rock as a producer?
He always shows up on time and he smells nice. Yeah. No, what is that? It's like a plumber's ad or something, right? Yeah. Right. Bob is just cool AF. We started working with him about 14 years ago and just never stopped. Everyone says, this is the third record you've worked on with Bob. Well, that's true. It's the third record we've put out since we've been working with him, but we honestly started working with him then, and we just kind of just continue to work with him, and it's a great relationship. He can keep pushing us to like for me personally, to have better performances without making me feel like I'm not performing well. And I love it. He'll say, this is going to be great. It means, okay, we're not there yet. Got to keep pushing forward, but eventually we're going to get there. He's like, man, great, perfect, got it. And he's the nicest guy. It's fun working with him. Same with Dexter when it's a song thing. Dexter creates a song. Bob's like, is that can it be better? Do you think? Oh, damn it, Bob. But it's great.
How does it feel to know that you have sold 40 million albums worldwide?
That's crazy, but how do you measure that, really? I mean, 40 is millions a number. I don't know. When I was a janitor, one of the teachers decided to collect for charity the flip tops of aluminum cans, and she was going to collect 1 million of them. That's a lot of flip tops. I mean, it was a pile in the playground on the blacktop at the school. But 40 million copies. I don't know, man. It's hard to wrap my head around it. So it's a number that it just seems too abstract for me to really know. But it's cool,
You must see the results.
Yeah, let me put it this way. What's far more tangible is when we're playing live, whether it's at a festival or a club show or wherever, and you just see the audience reaction. That, to me, is far more tangible than a 40 million records sold. I don't really know how to place that. It's fun to hear us on the radio, although I usually change the channel to something else. Unless I haven't heard it for a while, then I'll listen in. I always feel weird if I'm driving in my car listening to Offspring, but I do it.
Give me a highlight from each album that you've done in your career. 1989, The Offspring, highlight of that period.
The first cross-country tour. We made it out to High Point, North Carolina, and played at an arcade. There was a pool hall and arcade. And right next to that they had the Double Bubble, which was a laundromat and a bar. So you could go in and start a load of laundry and step next door and have a beer. And so we got to play a show halfway through the tour, get our laundry done, so we smelled clean and fresh. And yeah, God, we were so broke. We almost didn't make it back. We were scrambling under the seats and everything for change to buy gas to make it back. We did that tour in Dexter's pickup truck, his SR5 that he still has, like it's 1978 SR5. Crazy. It was a fun time.
Another State of Mind documentary.
Oh man, we used to watch that all the time. Yeah. We'd stay up late drinking beer and put that on. Yeah, that is a really accurate representation of the old punk rock days. Yeah, and those guys were one of the first guys to get one of those buses and do that. Most of the time it was a van, which is more cramped, but more reliable way of doing it is in a van or an SR5 pickup truck.
Ignition, 1992.
Actually, for Ignition, we opened up for Fugazi twice. We did it once out in the desert, in Mojave Desert, middle of nowhere, off Jawbone Canyon, and then we also opened up for them at the Palladium. That was our biggest show to date at that time, and that was during the Ignition era. That was a blast. Also, the Ignition era, we went over to Europe and opened up for NoFX for 6 weeks. And that was huge. That was a great tour.
Smash.
I mean, that just changed our lives. You know, what we were doing as a hobby became our career. You know, that was the first time we ever really even thought that could be possible. So I was scared to quit my job. I wasn't sure if this was the right move. So my janitor job, great touring, everything was new. We started off really under booking everything. We went into smaller clubs. We wanted to kind of, you know, learn and build because we weren't a professional band. We were hobbyists at that point. So we really tried to, you know, up our game, get better equipment, I took singing lessons and really just tried to up our game and slowly build. We turned down Saturday Night Live because we were afraid we weren't ready. Wow. I think that pissed off Lauren Michael. Sorry, Lauren. We're ready. Anytime, call us, Lauren.
Ixnay on the Hombre.
We were worried. We've got to follow up Smash. You know, we want to show that we are a commercially viable rock and roll band and still street cred. We got tons of street cred. So it was a weird kind of thing. And we decided, okay, we know what we are. We know we've been a band for 12 years at this point. Let's just do what we do. Let's just go in and do Offspring songs, and let's not worry about what people are going to say about it too much. I think we were pretty successful in how that record came out. That record's got Gone Away on it, which was, you know, different for us, almost like a rock ballad. That song has touched our fans in a more profound ways than maybe any other song we've ever done. That was an important record. It's got All I Want on it. We still play All I Want every night.
Americana.
I mean, Americana was huge. That was like the big pop punk record for us. We gave away. It led to us giving away $1 million on MTV. I think we were on Total Request Live when we retired that song. I mean, you know, Pretty Fly was everywhere. You know, everyone knows what Guy Cohen looks like, even if they don't know the name Guy Cohen. He's the Pretty Fly guy in the video. Everyone can see him dancing with his one leg. So yeah, that was huge. And Get a Job did well. And Kids Aren't All Right was on that record. I think that's also another one of those songs like Gone Away that's really kind of touched people, you know, in a way that was more profound than certainly more profound than Pretty Fly.
2000's Conspiracy of One.
Yeah, that was the first record we did with Brendan O'Brien. I think we did most of that at NRG Studios in North Hollywood. Yeah, and this is where it all kind of blends in for me. So like Conspiracy of One had some ominous meaning. It's a great record, a lot of fun stuff. I think Prankster's on that, and that's just funny, just, you know, tongue-in-cheek, kind of like a Pretty Fly vein.
Splinter, 2003.
Okay, Splinter has Dewey on it. I think that was the first one we worked with Josh Freese on. Say A Long Way Home's on that one. That was also done with Brendan O'Brien. We did a lot of that out in Atlanta, I think. That was when we first flew to Atlanta, and then also Jim Henson Studios. Brendan was great. He was also, like Dave Jordan, really into guitars. He was a guitar player and really good at it. A real extensive knowledge of the studio, not just guitars, but a little bit of everything. So I think he brought certain things that you know, we had learned a lot from Tom, we learned a lot from Dave, and now we're learning, you know, new things from Brennan too.
Rise and Fall, Rage and Grace. What is the message behind that album cover?
Well, we weren't, you know, thinking super deep theological thoughts about that, but she is kind of angelic and she wants to rise, but she's yet chained. So it was that feeling of, you know, longing to be free, you know, spiritually, I guess, you know, but then there, you know, there's things that are holding you back, just, you know, everyday restraints, you know, shit, red lights, you know, paintings in the lane, you know, there's things that, you know, I'd love to go GTA in my car, but I stay in the lane most of the time. Well, that had You're Gonna Go Far Kid on it, which was a huge hit for us. It was one of our biggest radio hits, and it was so great to be playing a new song that was going over as well as Self-Esteem, you know, from 1994. And I love that record. I think there's still a lot of great stuff on that record.
Days Go By.
Once you're aging, maybe a little bit of wisdom that's okay. The aches and pains are what, bother me. After like going out for a weekend and we do like 3 shows and I'm jumping up and down, and by the last day I wake up in the morning and my plantar fasciitis is acting up, and then I sit on a plane and I can't move. I'm literally stuck in a seat for 5 hours flying back from the East Coast, and then I get up and try to walk and everything's locked up. That's the worst.
If you could collaborate with any legendary musician, living or dead, who would it be?
I would love to work with Keith Richards. Just bounce some guitar stuff off Keith Richards. I think that would be fun. Or just drink vodka. We could do that too. I'd be all right with that. He's going to outlive us all. Yeah, people are joking like, where are you going to be in 30 years? I said, we're still going to be out touring. I go, we're going to be opening up for the Rolling Stones, in 30 years. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Do you believe that your music can still have a social impact?
Well, yes, but I don't think of it as like, we're going to go out and change minds, but you can inspire people to follow what they already, their beliefs, where their beliefs are already. I think you can stoke passion in people, but we're not going to change anybody's minds. Rage Against the Machine didn't create a fan base of liberal forward thinkers. They got a lot of conservative fans that just like the fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. But you can inspire people to go out and follow, their passions and try to make things, do whatever, make things better, and change the world the way they see fit. But you're not going to change anybody's mind, whether they're liberal or conservative or, what to think about.
What song do you wish you had written?
Holiday in Cambodia by the Dead Kennedys. I wish I had written that song. I always loved that song, and I was like, man, I would love to write a punk rock song like that. I think that's just one of the best written songs all the way around.
How do you know who your real friends are?
It takes some time, but I think you just know.
What brings you the most peace in your life right now?
I'm going to say the ocean, just waves coming in on the ocean. I can go down to the beach, watch waves roll in, and just be at peace with that.
You're a surfer.
I am, not as much as I used to be. I just got my eyes done, and I haven't been out in the water yet. I had cataract surgery. You talk about getting old.
Wow.
But they were able, since I had to get cataracts replaced, they were able to replace the lenses in my eyes, so I can actually see now.
Wow.
And for the first time, in 58 years. So I haven't paddled out yet, but I got the okay last week to do so. So I got to do it.
What is your greatest fear?
A 2-wave hold down. If you've ever been out in big waves, and when you get held under for more than one wave, it can really scare you. It's scary. So yeah, 2-wave hold down. The idea of that, not being able to breathe underwater, that scares the hell out of me.
What would you like your legacy to be?
I would like somebody to say the guitar solo in I Choose is pretty good.
What do you consider your greatest achievement to date?
I guess my children, Chelsea and Jackson, their names are out.
What do they think of your music?
They think I'm a dork, Yeah, totally. I'm the guy that made them eat their vegetables and keep their rooms clean, and yeah, and gone half the time too. So I'm sure there's some resentment for that as well. Yeah.
Wow, that's honesty. What is your greatest extravagance?
An expensive dinner out with my wife.
Nice.
Yeah, we don't do that a lot, but every once in a while we'll go to town. Big expensive bottle of wine, and just 3 courses each, and we don't do it that much, but yeah, that's probably my biggest extravagance.
What do you love most about connecting with your fans?
I guess getting to know who they are, especially when I'm interacting with somebody that's got a sense of humor. I just love that. That's so funny, and especially a weird, twisted sense of humor. It was something that I wouldn't think of, that makes me laugh. I love that.
How would you define the term rock star?
I met Steven Tyler once. We did a benefit show, and got to meet him at the rehearsrsal. He is a rock star, and I mean it in the best way. He's got the look, he's super thin, but just this voice that is super thick and full. He's the real deal. He can get the job done and do it with style, and he was a nice guy on top of that, but just the look, the way he carried himself. Yeah, Steven Tyler's just a rock star in the classic sense of the word.
Where did you find your confidence in your teenage years?
I think a lot of it came from, realizing that, well, fuck it, I'm not going to fit in. Why keep trying? People may not like me, but this is who I am. This is what you got. So, but I also was able to, all that being said, kind of somehow be able to establish a rapport with somebody, whether it was a contemporary of mine or one of my grandma's friends. I was always able to kind of sit down and have a conversation with people at a young age, and I don't know how to account for that, but so I think maybe that helped. And then also being, hey man, this is who I am. This is what you get, and I may get in trouble for it, but whatever, been there, done that.
How important is fame to you, and could you live without it?
Yeah, I could live without it. There is something about who I am, and I think all of us in the band that make us want to go out and connect with people, and a lot of people, and on a big level. There's something, and I love going out and connecting with an audience. But I also like to just, walk on the beach and not have people give a rat's ass about who I am. When you said the thing about, growing old, people don't pay any attention to you, that almost sounds kind of fun. But I understand both sides of that. It's a double-edged knife, I guess.
When you talked about the fame thing, I remember when I ran into you the other night at the Shattered Face show in Huntington Beach. That kid came up to you and he goes, "I can't believe I'm like talking to you right now." Like he was like so in awe of you.
It's a little weird, yeah. He was the kid with the Offspring shirt on too, right? Yeah, which is funny. Yeah, but the more you deal with that, the more it's less weird, I guess. It is always a little weird, yeah, when people know you and I don't know them. Fortunately, that doesn't happen too much. I like to go to local shows and and see local bands. That was the first time I saw the infamous Stiffs. That's who I really wanted to see that night.
John Gahuli's band.
Yeah, and they were great. They have some really good songs and they put on a great show. Yeah, I really like them. They were great. All the bands were really pretty good that night. It was fun. But yeah, it was I do get recognized by the locals, but usually it's like, hey, they come up, and they shake my hand, can we get a picture? Sure, and then, okay, thanks, nice meeting you, and they leave me alone, So it's not, it's something I've gotten used to, When we were first getting asked to do autographs, it was a little weird. The Rush documentary, have you seen that? Mm-hmm. With Neil Peart? And Neil Peart says, I do not do autographs. It's just, I can't do it. It makes me feel weird. I understand that tension that he's feeling there. There's, he's, why do you, I'm just a guy, it's just weird. And that's how it was the first couple times, but you go, okay, it's not about me. They want an autograph. I can do this for them. It's an easy thing. So you learn to do it. Like for me, I don't want to be a dick to the fans. If they want an autograph, it takes a minute. Most of the time, I'll do it. Unless there's situations where it's not a good time to come up and ask me for an autograph. Most of the time, like at a bar, it's fine.
What's next for Noodles and the Offspring?
We're getting ready to head out this fall, do some shows. We've got a couple local radio things. I don't know if they're real full-blown concerts, but do some radio shows. I think we're going to play a full set at those. And then we've got some other radio shows around the country and some headlining shows, some of our own headlining shows. We're getting into the studio next week. We're going to start doing just rehearsals here, and then we're going to do full-on production rehearsals somewhere. I'm not sure where we're doing that, some theater or something. Going to try out some new things. Going to try some video ideas behind us. We've never taken video out with us, so going to try some of that. We're going to update all our equipment, make sure it's all new and updated. We've got a bunch of new sounds to program for guitars and whatnot because for the new record, and looking forward to that.
Who's the greatest guitar player that ever lived?
I'm going to throw Stan Lee from the Dickies a bone on this one. I love Stan. I love his guitar playing.
Yeah. Noodles, it's been great to have you on the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show. You rock.
Oh, great talking with you, man.
This is the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show with Noodles of the Offspring. Signing off.
The Blairing Out show.